Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast for a brand new episode this week where Rangers, again, the home form is really stinging us in terms of just every single aspect of our game at the moment. We're losing games, we're not playing well, and we're really struggling to get the fans behind a team. We're going into a massive Europa League game on Thursday where you would think, right, go out, the sun's shining at Ibrox for once, get a result for the fans, go into Thursday with a bit of confidence, but we're doing it the Rangers way, and it's always the hard way of doing these things. So it's going to be a massive task to go and beat Athletic Club after the way we've been playing at Ibrox. But we'll go into that. We'll talk about the Hibs game. We'll talk about the fallout for that game, and then of course pick a team for the game on Thursday as well. There's a couple of notable absentees, which isn't helpful either, but we'll have to go ahead with it. As you'll see, I'm not joined by Lewis today. I'm joined by Thomas, who's came in and he's make his debut on the channel for the first episode, Club Deck Loyal. So it's good to have him on and talk about what's been Rangers over the past couple of weeks. It hasn't been great to watch. It hasn't been. It's been exciting now in terms of the Dundee game the last week, which was a fantastic game, of course, to get the victory and stuff. But again, 2-0 down in that game. We're 2-0 down and beat 2-0 by Hibs at Ibrox yesterday. I don't really know what I put it down to with Ibrox. It was when Clement was here at the start of the season, we couldn't win games away from home. Now Clement's away and we can't win games at Ibrox, but we're all right playing away from home. So it's a difficult one to really pinpoint what the problem is. I don't know if it's the pressure for the stands, but there's not really that much pressure to win these games anymore. We're kind of out of the game. We're out of the race, and it's a matter of time before Celtic wrap up the title. So usually this is when this Rangers team eventually does turn on results and when there's no pressure on.
Well, mate, I was thinking that I was saying it to folk on my bus anyway. Yesterday, it was like, you get to this point in the season, it's like, right, the league's done, we're out the cups, obviously we're still in Europe, but you're like, this is usually when we hit the bit of form. We always usually joke about it. It's like, right, this is when we win all our games now. We can't even do that now anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know, like you were saying as well, it's obviously, I don't even know, there is no pressure really in the stands as well. Barry Ferguson came in, he's had a bit of a free hit really. The players, I'm sick of saying it. I'm actually sick of saying it to you every week. Like, just like when we're talking, it's ridiculous. Like, it comes to this point of the stage, you're thinking, it's how, I don't know how we're actually doing it. You can perform so well away from home, so well in Europe, but you just can't do it on the, like Barry Ferguson always, he's been saying it for fucking weeks and weeks, your bread and butter.
Yep.
It's ridiculous, mate.
Aye, no, that's the thing. It's been since he's came in. His first game was Kelly. Fair enough. He had a couple of days to kind of prepare for that game. That was a midweek game. We go 2-0 behind early doors. It's just a calamity. Of course, we get back in. We win the game 4-2. Fine. Gets a good result that night. We then lose again at home. I can't even remember who it was against, but we lose again at home. Aye, St Mirren. So we're losing games there. We've got beat off Fenerbahce. We're going 2-0 down in all these games. And then Hibs roll around, and Hibs have been good this season. It's took them a while, and it's took them some patience to kind of stick by David Gray and eventually get this run of form going. But I think they're unbeaten in 15 or 16 league games now, which is remarkable considering where them and Hearts were at the start of this season. They were both bottom of the table. So Hibs it was always going to be a tough game going into this one. Hibs have got good players, as we've seen. Martin Boyle scoring in the day, and he's been a kind of thorn in our side every time we've played Hibs. Really, the game we played against Hibs, obviously over there in Easter Road, cruising the game. Hamza Egeman scores a hat trick. Again, we can't see the game over the line. We drew 3 each, which shows a different side to a Hibs team, which I haven't really saw in recent years. I think they've had multiple bad recruitments and managers and stuff like that. It's not really been going well, but it seems like they've got a situation which is working now, and they're coming to Ibrox the same as any other teams coming to Ibrox, and it's not really like a hard thing to beat Rangers anymore. It's kind of just turn up, score early, be hard to break down, and then when the fans are getting upset and frustrated in the stands, then they'll score.
Aye, it's the same every game. That's literally it in a fucking nutshell. Get an early goal, get the fans against you, and then just park the bus, win wee stupid fouls, get the Rangers fans annoyed at the ref, just keep your shape, score a wee cheeky second goal in the second half, and then that's you.
Nah, no, it's pretty much exactly how all these games have went. It's just not good enough. And then you've got to then look at the players. Of course, Barry Ferguson's came in. He's tried to steady the ship. He's tried to kind of get these players playing for the badge a bit more. You've still got 50,000 fans at Ibrox for essentially a dead rubber game, which is a testament to ourselves, obviously, for going through that with the season that we've had. But the fans will still follow. The fans will be there. And we're just not getting rewarded for our time at the moment when it comes to going to Ibrox. It used to be an enjoyable experience going to the game on a Saturday or Sunday, whenever it was, and taking in the game at Ibrox. But it's just the same game every single time now. I think since the Queen's Park game, it's just been an absolute disaster. And I think if we go through the team, we have to start on Jack Butland in the goal, because that's where the first error appears in the game. Again, just we didn't really look like the team that wanted to start the game again. I don't know again what this is, where we only seem to ever want to play one half of football. Of course, against Hibs we didn't play any, really.
Right.
We're terrible for both, but usually we start the game poorly, we go one behind, we come back out second half, get a reaction, win the game, but this was just an absolute disaster again. You can tell for the first 10 minutes of games when we're just not up for it, and this team wasn't up for it. Dylan Levitt is the one that gets the opening goal for Hibs. It's a good strike, to be fair to him, for about 25 yards out. He hits it well, but, I mean, Jack Butland is just... He's got that in him this season, and I think that's his 101st goal he's conceded in 100 Rangers appearances. So, I mean, these stats kind of speak for himself as well.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's not even the goal; it's the goals we're conceding. Like there again, obviously it's Butland's fault, but they had a fair throw in, can't clear the ball out. Dylan Levitt's got about 100 here to take one touch, see where he wants to pick his shot and shoot before MD's even gets near him. And then obviously I know maybe takes a slight deflection, but Jack Butland again, man, that's maybe even up there with the one for last week where my gran could have probably caught. So.
Aye.
It's a poor, I don't know what's happened to him since the cup final last May. It's just
well, I know you look at that as well. That was another error on that day as well.
You can see the goals we're conceding. Obviously, I was saying it to my dad earlier. It was like there's sometimes you can see the goalie's not in great form, and it's like it could be better or this, but some of the goals he's conceding is literally clear cut. He should be saving. There's no debate whether it's hard or he's unlucky. It's literally like he should be saving it or it's right at him.
No.
And it's just that well, there you go. It's a goal straight away, and it's just going to give the opposition more of a chance for when they're at the game, because I think if we shoot, there's a chance it's going in here because of the goalie we've got.
I know he looks like a guy under pressure at the moment, Jack Butland, and to be fair to him, he makes good saves from time to time, but I think there's been too many errors this season. I think back to the game against St Mirren Boxing Day, he was atrocious that game. He was absolutely terrible, and that's kind of summed up where Butland's been over the past couple of weeks and months since then. He's been error stricken in the Rangers net, and you look at the one for Dundee, as you say, the second goal for them, it's terrible. The one for Dylan Levitt for Hibs yesterday, again, we should be gathering that ball and we should be going on the counter attack at that point, and we shouldn't not be conceding that goal. So of course we find ourselves 1-0 down. This team apparently like being behind for some reason, which if we could stop making that habit. If we could stop making that a habit, that'd be great. But again, the reaction for the team isn't there either. We go 1-0 down. It was such a frustrating game to watch yesterday, because any single time we tried to get anything going through the middle of the park, your fullbacks aren't really giving you any width at all. We couldn't get by Cadden and Obita on the left hand and right hand side for Hibs. They stayed in their structure well, and it was all about them kind of just defending till half time, I think, and coming back out and maybe trying to grab a second goal, which, if that's our game plan, worked perfectly on the day. But we just had no answers after Hibs scored that opening goal. Don't think Hibs were really up the pitch much, to be fair. But, I mean, you're looking at Czerny, he was trying to cut in and do the same thing every time, making some poor decisions. He holds onto the ball too long at times for me, where he should release it, he should look for the cross, he should try and shoot, do whatever. I don't think a game like this is Connor Barron's game either. I mean, we're 1-0 down at home. Fair enough, these games away from home, the tricky ties, going to Celtic Park and stuff where you could play a midfield three, him, Diomande and Raskin, and Barron can just sit and ping balls about and he can be comfortable on the ball. But when you're looking for a guy that's going to push forward and try to create chances, he's not the guy, and I don't think Raskin's really that guy either. We've got two midfielders that kind of do the same job. And in a game at home where you're really needing to get some sort of creative midfielder on the ball, I don't really feel that we have that in the team kind of whatsoever. And one of the big things for me is Hamza Gaman's been moved out to the left-hand side where he's struggled just to accommodate Cyril Dessers missing about 50 chances a game.
I know, mate. I literally don't know. Hamza Gaman's been brilliant in the form of his life when he was playing striker, and now I think Dessers came in during like mid-January, had a good few games, scored against was it Dundee United away, scored against Man United, and he's wormed his way again back into this team to maybe score the odd goal and miss up 10 chances. And you're seeing the full team has to suffer because of it. We're having to play people out of position. We're having to play a man on the left wing. He's no a winger. It doesn't affect the team at all when he's out on the wing. We've seen it 8, 9, 10 times when he's not on striker. He's not good when he's not playing as a number 9.
Nah, and I think you've seen as soon as we had that kind of resurgence when Igaman came into the team, when Danilo came into the team, the two of them together, we played the best football we've probably played all season.
And then we just never played them again.
And then
together.
Danilo's not getting on the pitch really. Igaman's getting shoved out to the left wing. Dessers, fair play to him, he scored goals for us at important times, but it's like you're looking at the chances he misses again. They had a good few yesterday. In the first half, I remember the one where he was kind of one-on-one with the goalie a wee bit. The defender for Hibs was coming into him a wee bit. He had time to maybe pick a corner and he just rattles it. He just balloons it over the bar. And I think that's what you're dealing with Cyril Dessers. At that moment, getting back to one each is the key thing for this Rangers team, and I don't think they've got the number 9 there that you can rely on to take any of the chances. And fair enough to him, he took the chance last Saturday against Dundee to win us a game, but he misses far too many chances and good opportunities as well where we should be scoring goals. And I don't really like the fact that Ferguson even takes so long to take him off as well. Like, it's time to maybe give Danilo and Igaman a chance and maybe relegate Dessers to the bench for a game or two, because for me that's not an acceptable standard a Rangers player. Fair enough, as I say, the numbers, the stats are fine, but on the eye watching him play, it's a totally different story.
It's the same, even touching on like I don't want to be one of the guys that's like strip the full team out and put the youth team on, but what is the point in Rangers having a youth team? What is the point? You've got Finlay Curtis sitting there, Clayton Dust. You've got Bailey Rice could come on when obviously this game isn't for Conor Barron, Raskin and Diamande ought to be playing together. Obviously, you can play games like you can play them in games like this when the league's effectively done. But I'm not going to say stick Mason one on for Butland. That's a bit too far. But I just mean like, just switch it up a bit and stuff. Know what I mean?
No, I think that's the thing.
I feel like we've been saying that when Barry Ferguson came in. I thought a lot of folk, myself included, thought, maybe you're going to see a bit more of the youth team. But I feel like we say this when every new Rangers manager comes in, it just never seems to change. I don't know what I genuinely don't know why we've got a youth team.
Aye, because it doesn't really feel like there's a pathway properly into being a Rangers starter. I think Ferguson and his team have done well to find a situation where we're playing that kind of 3-5 at the back thing in Europe against Celtic and stuff that's worked well, but there's no solution to beating teams like this at home and away, teams that we should be dominating the game against, because realistically we're not dominating large parts of the game against Celtic or Athletic Club as we'll go on to. We're going to have to soak up pressure and we're going to have to play the way we've successfully played in Europe and that, so I think that's fine. He's found a different formation and stuff, which I don't think other managers in the past have had the balls to really change, but I think in terms of domestic stuff, we should not be. I don't really care how bad Robin Propper is. We all know Robin Propper is probably going to start the game on Thursday, right? So why is Sterling playing at centre half when Propper needs a game to get fit? I get maybe resting him because you've not got that many options for Thursday, and maybe just keep him and him and Balogun so you know you've got them. But you're looking at, Yefty's form has fallen off a cliff. I've not seen a regression as bad as Yefty, where you think he's going in the right direction. He's just plummeted. He looks terrible every time he touches the pitch now. And as you say, Finlay Curtis, it's an opportunity to give this guy a game and try your Danilos and Igamans, and I don't know. I thought the subs were quite poor as well.
When you're going to need them with obviously Diamande and Suter not being able to play this leg. You've seen it against Man United. How many players came on that never had played maybe 10, 15 minutes, and at the end it was like the B team was playing against Man United, because obviously that's what to happen. And obviously, with the I don't know how it is. Like the Scottish, you need a good few Scottish players in the European team. So it's just poor planning. But
yeah, I know it's poor planning because fast forward to Thursday, say we're maybe 2-1 down, we need a goal to get back into the game or something. You've used a couple of subs. The only guys you've got in the bench is like Finlay Curtis and I
they've
don't
not
know.
been easy. They've not been
And
easy at
they've had
all.
15 minutes to play, but you're
Aye,
asking these guys to come on and change a game. It's like
yeah.
maybe if they had a proper plan to be playing games. I know it's been tough. It's hard to get a start in the Rangers team. It's hard to bleed into the Rangers team, but we're not really seeing these guys for a long period of time, and they're doing good things for the B team.
It's probably the basic excuse Barry Ferguson's goal, but to give them a plan because they're playing. Let's face it, it's a bounce game now. Like all the games in the league are bounce games now. So this is probably a chance he's got to say, right, maybe just stick him on for the last half hour, see how he is. Because I might need him. Obviously, you know what Rangers are like with injuries and all in big games, so you might need him the second half of the Bilbao game or whatever. So it's just frustrating when we're sitting talking about what you know is probably going to happen. Like, you know what I mean?
Aye, I think that's the thing is the fans aren't really stupid anymore. We can kind of all see what's happening, what's been happening, what should happen, and it's easy to talk about it, but these things are going to need to go into action soon. And something else that probably had to go into action soon is, of course, we've struggled for wingers all year. Igaman's been pushed out left, Hadji and stuff. Oscar Cortez is now on the bench, and he has been for the last couple of games. The game is crying out for a bit of width. Just throw him on. Who is that again? We've got the obligation to pay this money for this guy. He's been injured. It's been a horrendous time at the club for him so far. He showed promise last season. We obviously took that option to get him back for this year. We've not seen him too much. The game's crying out for a winger, and you've got a winger on the bench, and we're too scared to put him on. Like, to me, again, it's just daft decision making all the time, and I think the same mistakes are kind of getting made by this coaching staff in domestic games as well.
But like I'm saying, just stick him on a game like yesterday. What have you got to lose? Know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. The game at 2-0 down, we're not winning that game.
Just get him on a bit of game time again. You might need him on Thursday.
Yep, and he'll maybe show something. He'll maybe show a bit of class to kind of drag himself back into the game. He's a guy that will have to make an impression. I'm sure he's desperate to make an impression because he'll be getting labelled with Everton since he's been at the club. So I think, again, a poor move not to even throw him on the pitch for even 15 minutes towards the end of the game when it's done. But the game was done when Martin Boyle scored that second one. I mean, just an absolute calamity. A goal to lose again. The defence is wide open. Boyle just strolls through with one pass for the middle of the park and has all the time in the world to slot it by Jack Butland after a VAR check and stuff. It was given, but that was kind of curtains for this Rangers team. You didn't really see any way back at that point. Of course, we've dragged ourselves back into games at that point pretty much every single time we've played recently, but there was just nothing in this Rangers team that I saw on Saturday that was like, right, we're going to roll up the sleeves and get a result here for the fans at Ibrox. It was just a terrible, terrible performance, and I think the closest we got for as long as I was in the stadium anyway was by Rami hitting the bar. That's the only thing I can really remember us having a decent enough chance.
I'm sick of saying and all. Like, see the amount of times I'm at Ibrox and one you can when I'm sitting, you can see it. Like one pass takes out of our full midfield and back four. One through ball and it's a 1-on-1. Yeah. Every single time.
And that's probably something you can take a look at, being like the defence isn't good enough. Like even Butland's not got that security with the defence either.
Five, and then that's even. You can't really blame it on Barry. That's been about Clement as well. So that's what you can say about the players as well. Yeah. But it's so easy to play against us at Ibrox. It's worrying.
Yeah,
you can see about the takeover and that coming over, but that's not going to happen overnight. It's worrying. And I seen as well. I don't know if you've seen it from you were sitting, but when the second goal went in, I seen Neil McCann come out to the dugout and was just hurling abuse at folk, and it's just you just see the difference in players like Tavernier, players like Suter at the back. Like they've just not got the hunger or the desire.
Mm-hmm.
They maybe even get back into the game to look. There's no leaders on the pitch at all, which again is worrying. And I was talking to somebody that actually gets on my bus, and they made a good point. They were saying if you were like a kid nowadays, if they were wanting to buy a shirt off their mum or dad, saying who would you want in the back of your top, I couldn't name one player.
No,
Could
that's
not name one player who a kid maybe younger than us could look up to and say, "Oh, he's who I aspire to be," or he's my hero." Like, it's
yeah.
worrying, and it's quite sad as well, to be fair.
Aye, it's been that way for too long now, where you've had players that have come in and had good spells and stuff, but there's not really been that one hero, that one leader on the Rangers pitch. Even when you've got James Tavernier as captain for 10 years, you've never really looked at him as that guy, and I think that's a big claim to make against the senior leadership squad in this team. I mean, you're looking at Butland, Suter, Tavernier, Dessers, all senior players cannot get the rest of this team through a game at home against Hibs, and it was just it wasn't even a sad, or you weren't even like, oh, it's going to ruin my
Aye,
day. It's kind of just, you're
aye,
accustomed to this now with Rangers at
aye.
Ibrox, and it's a thing that has to end, and it has to end by Thursday. It's as simple as that, because the biggest game of the season is on Thursday up till this point. So I've got nothing good to say about anybody in that team that played on Saturday. It was an absolute disaster. Hibs, while they were good enough to beat us, I didn't think were great, to be honest with you. I think Hibs could have been a lot better and damaged us a lot more if we actually kind of tried to take the game to them a bit more. But I thought we were that bad. We kind of made Hibs look good, and they didn't really have to do much for the victory in the end. So it was an absolute disaster. And you look at the stats there as well, like, not really even that much. We weren't pep on the goal. 15 shots, 3 in target. Most of the possession, of course. Hibs only with 7 shots, 3 in target, end up scoring 2 goals. But we kept a lot of the ball. We didn't do anything with it, and we just kind of passed it about, and didn't really take any risks to get back into the game, which, again, you can label that at this Rangers team. They don't like taking risks either.
Just a standard game at Ibrox this season.
Aye, pretty much. I flag that up. Yeah, I'm obviously, the cameras, our faces are covering the badge. You could put that against any game at Ibrox this season and get the viewers to guess what game it was. It was just
What one is,
one of those again. But as we say, that form will have to rapidly change. And it's Athletic Bilbao that are coming to Ibrox on Thursday. Of course, great achievement for everybody involved getting to this point in the Europa League. But the way we're playing, the attitude towards the team that the fans have got at the moment, I just feel that this is going to be one step too far for us all. Of course, we'll give it everything on Thursday. Would not surprise me if we go out here and win this game, play Bilbao off the park, and we're sitting thinking to ourselves once again, like, what is this Rangers team? Why can they only get up for these games? And I think it's something that has to, again, be labelled at them. Like, why? Of course, the fans are more rowdy, or more up for it. You've got a support that will be coming for Bilbao that will be behind their team as well. It's easy to get up for the European games. We need to see this all the time, and that's what kind of takes a wee bit away for these European fixtures. It's like, right, we can't beat Hibs at home, but we know we'll be up for it against Bilbao, and it's a bit of a sore one. But I'm definitely expecting a tough tie over the 2 legs. I think us being at Ibrox first, I don't even think it helps us being at Ibrox in general. So I'm happy to get this game out of the way first. But it's imperative we go to Bilbao next week with a lead to some sort. I don't really know what we need to go over there and feel comfortable. I would like a 2-goal deficit, but of course that's being kind of greedy, and I think this will be a real tough game.
Aye, I'm the exact same. I'd literally, like you say, do not know what to expect of this Rangers team. We could come out, we could be 3-0 down at half time, we could be 3-0 up at half time. You just genuinely don't know what to expect for this team. Obviously, going away from home, you would like to maybe have at least a 1-0 lead, but I just don't know anymore with Rangers, especially in Europe. I've got no clue what's going to happen. You could say to me, if I didn't watch a game, you could say to me it'll be Rangers won 3-0 or Rangers lost 3-0. I wouldn't even be.
You wouldn't be surprised.
I've got no clue what to expect, but Rangers in Europe, so who knows?
Well, the Thursday before that was Fenerbahce, but again, that wasn't a great performance over 90 minutes. That was probably one of our flattest home performances at Ibrox in the Europa League. Sorry, in a long time. I thought we were poor on the night. I thought Fenerbahce were well worth the victory in the 90 minutes, but over extra time, I thought we were the better team and deserved it over the course and penalties. But this is going to be a game where we need to kind of be on it, and of course we're missing a couple of players, very key players as well. You don't really want to be missing John Souttar and Diomande. I think Diomande's been brilliant in the Europa League next to Raskin. And I think Souttar's our best centre half by an absolute mile, which is concerning, to be honest, that's the case. But aye, I think it'll be a tough game. If you look at Athletic Bilbao's form at the moment, of course, Roma were the team that were able to beat them in the first leg of the last round, but they were able to turn that around in the second leg, beating them 3-1. So, again, it looks like a team that don't do necessarily too well. They don't score too many goals. Of course, they're still high up there in the table in La Liga. They're probably the favourites to win the competition, as it being in their home city, the final. But aye, they don't tend to lose many goals. They don't tend to score many goals. They tend to be a team that's hard to beat, and they've got some cracking players as well. So
Aye, like I say, we'll just need to wait and see. I've genuinely got no clue. Cannot predict this game at all. Just need to hope, obviously, they come up and turn up. But we seen the last game, Fenerbahce, but they hadn't lost a game, 18 or 19 games at home.
mm-hmm.
We've seen it. We've seen it when we've played Real Betis. Hadn't lost a game all year at home, and we just seem somehow to turn up and win these important games. So,
Yep.
like I say never. But I think this is probably the end of the road on paper. But you never know with Rangers.
Again, that is the thing. You can't really say too much because you don't actually really know how this game's going to go, which is
You don't know what Rangers going to turn up, which is scary. But
aye, and you say obviously us breaking those records for Fenerbahce and Betis for the season before, it needs to be our own record we break this time and actually get a victory at Ibrox. Because I mean, if we could beat it, it's like 6 games in a row we've lost at Ibrox.
I was looking the other day. I think the last time we won a game at Ibrox, was the 2nd of February or something, 2 months ago.
I was at Ross County or something. It's just a horrible run of form that we're on, and it has to change. And Barry Ferguson will have to find the ingredients to be able to get a result against an Athletic Bilbao team that will come and they'll feel like the favourites in this tie. They'll want to again take something back to their place that will make it a lot easier to get through to the semi-final, and they'll feel like they're in touching distance if they do have that, because I say they don't lose too many games at home either. But they drew 0-0 the night. They drew 0-0 last weekend. They won 1-0 away to Sevilla in the 16th of March there. Of course, they're going to be a tough team to beat and really dominate the game against. But aye, that's the kind of team I can see playing. As I say, notable absentees. Proper will come in. I wouldn't say he would start Clinton and Ciala in a game like this. Although, when you look at it, he's going to be a guy that will be beyond tier pass next year. I don't think Robin Proper will be here in the summer. Leon Balogun, of course, will have to be the guy in that defence that tries to get us across the line in this one. Tavernier will start at right back. It'll be Barron and Raskin, because I don't really see him dropping a Hadji into midfield or something. I think he'll stay with Barron and Raskin. Again, probably a game more for Connor Barron and Raskin to play together, where they're not going to have too much onus on getting forward. We're going to play probably a large part of this game on the counter-attack. So again, the width will be coming for the wide men, and Hadji maybe wandering into the middle of the field, and Czerny, of course, doing what he does. But some of the changes that I would like to see ahead of this one, I think Yilmaz is just a better left back, to be honest. As much as Yilmaz was really poor against Dundee, I think he just is the better player. I think Yefti has been a bomb scare at times when he's played recently, and I don't feel that we can put him into a game like this. Of course, he's better on the attack probably than Yilmaz, but I think Yilmaz has got more kind of all round about his game, and I feel more safer probably with him playing. But
you'd rather have the better defensive option in a game like this than
I think so.
Aye.
Czerny, of course, it was good to see him back. Obviously, that the injury's not going to be too heavy on his recovery and his back, and he'll start this game. Hadji, I think with Diomande missing out, I don't really want to see Igaman out there again, as we mentioned. I would like to see Hadji and Moria Roman kind of role. I wouldn't like to see him as an out-and-out left winger. I would like to see him as a guy that will maybe pick up the ball for us and kind of get us moving forward, whether that be out in the wide areas or the middle of the pitch. And I think it's time to give Hamza Igaman a shot up front again. I mean, you've seen some of the games that he's played up front himself. It's been good. He's going to score goals. He's going to get chances. He doesn't get too many chances when he's playing out left and having to create for Dessers, who will then miss every chance he sets up for him. So I think Dessers has to go on the bench. Hamza Igaman has to start. and out with maybe like Yefty starting at left back, or again as we say, Inciala maybe coming in at centre half other than proper. That's probably the team that would go with for this one, I think.
We've not really get too many options either, but like you were saying, Hamza, if Igaman isn't up front and there's literally no, but I don't want to say there's no point in him playing, but he's just not as effective on the wings
No.
that he was up front. You've seen it when he was in good form, scoring all the goals. Like you were saying as well, Haji, I maybe wouldn't see him as a left winger, more maybe Hamza away, maybe Cherny just behind him, and then Haji more as maybe a number 10 because he's got Raskin and
Aye.
Barry behind him who can maybe sit more that game. But like you say, probably the best scene you can go with considering the options we've got, but
I
just need to
know.
hope we play.
Aye, because you look at the team that's obviously going to start this game. Then you've not got much after that. You've got Danilo, Bayrami, maybe Rice, Curtis, obviously for your youngsters. You've got
Aye.
either Yefty or Yilmaz. Like there's not too much that's going to
Dacers
be on the
could maybe
bench.
even be an
Dessers,
option
of course.
in a game
Aye.
like this, maybe an hour, 75 minutes into the game, know what I mean?
Aye,
But
that's the thing. I don't think Dessers is not going to be an option. I think this is just the time to maybe give Igaman a run through the middle. Um,
mm,
I think with a striker missing as much chances as Dessers, especially in a game like this where we have to take our
I
chances.
really take the chances,
I don't feel that I would be comfortable with him starting the game, but he definitely does make an impression when he comes on at times, and we'll see obviously where we are in the game at that point. But it's going to be a big game. It's going to be a hard game to navigate through, and it's Barry Ferguson again up against a tough side at the back end of a European competition, and he'll need every sort of bit of luck going for him in this one, I think. But again, as you say, you can't really predict what's going to happen. It's Rangers in Europe. It could be an absolute disaster. It could be one of the best nights that we've had in some time.
aye.
So there's really no in between with these nights for Rangers. But um, even though we aren't playing well at Ibrox, I'm still looking forward to the
Aye.
game on Thursday. It's just what the bug that they've got you under. So we don't do score predictions or that. So that's out the window. I just don't even want to think about the game until I'm actually there. And hopefully everybody, of course, came through the game that had to start this one fine on Saturday, sorry. But I think that's everything cleared up anyway until the game on Thursday. Again, thank you for coming on and obviously talking.
Aye, no bother.
Talking about Rangers. It probably won't be the last time you'll be on the channel either. Now that we've got you on
Aye.
for the first time. So aye. As for the viewers as well, if you could like, subscribe, and share, let us know your comments and thoughts on Rangers at the moment. Your thoughts and feelings, obviously, going into this game on Thursday, and who you would start, bench, what you think of Athletic Bilbao, and we'll get back to you in the comments. We'll be back next week with another episode looking at this game, looking at, again, a small matter of game up at Pataudry, and then looking ahead to the away leg and the second leg against Athletic Bilbao in the Europa League. So, aye, we'll see you then.